in this video, I'm going to show you how to take this and turn it into this. I'm Aaron Robinette, head coach of Athletic Power and Performance. Don't be a piece, train holistically. Of course, all the dimensions are going to be below in the notes for this video. So going into this, obviously this is a much bigger build than my model right here, but I just want to show you where everything's going to go. So first of all, these four guys are going to be these right here. Let's move those out of the way. Big board is going to be the top right here. And then these four are going to be the stands. They're going to stand up. So you can see them right here. Let's take a little bit closer look. So these are going to go right in here. So there's still four pieces I need for the build that I need to cut. There are these guys right here, so they'll go all the way around. I don't want to do those till I get this whole thing set up. So once I got this base set up, I'm going to cut those four pieces to fit, to make sure they fit in nice and snug. So at this point, let's go ahead and pre-drill some holes to make this part happen. So before I start drilling, one quick tip with this is when you're pre-drilling the holes, you're only going to be doing one side on each board. I'll explain that once I got this all pre-drilled and then the screws drilled in here. But use the board you're going to have to cut for the other pieces to balance this so you actually have an even surface to pre-drill. And then when you pre-drill your holes, you don't want to go all the way to the top. And the purpose of this is you're going to be drilling holes in the top here. And then you also want to make sure, because you're going to be drilling holes, you're going to be drilling screws through here, you want to make sure you have it set to where when you have the board here and you drill in this way, that you're going to miss these holes or these screws. You want to make sure you miss these screws with the screws you're going to go in here. So have them kind of set staggered. In this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and screw some screws in here. I'll screw the 2 of 3. Really quick, the purpose of pre-drilling is you want to make sure you get the hole pre-drilled, so that way when you have the screw and you're trying to screw it in, it doesn't split the wood and you don't have any issues like that. Okay, now I have these, all four of these pre-drilled, and actually have the screws, 2 or 3 screws in each one of these. So now the next step, bringing this all together for the base. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 2 pieces together. Once we get these 2 pieces, things are going to start solidifying a little bit more. We'll have more to work with, a little bit more sturdy. But I want to point out something here. So first of all, we're going to put these 2 pieces together. We want to make sure that these line up nice and snug. Use my rubber mallet to get that to happen. Take my trusty clamp here. Okay. In an ideal world, what we'll be doing is setting this up right here using a clamp like this guy, but unfortunately this one does not reach wide enough to actually clamp this. So I'm going to do this slightly different. Just kind of make this work. And what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill my hole. And by that, I can go ahead and let this go, but what I'll end up doing is line it up again right here when I screw the screw in, and that'll hold it a little bit. And it will line up because I'm lining everything up again. It's not the most ideal, but you gotta work with what you got, right? Okay, so that's got my screw loaded. Just gotta reline this up again. Make sure everything looks good. There we go. Okay, we got solid base. The purpose of a couple things, first of all, making sure I pre-drill these, make sure I get these on there, but then when I bolt these two together and having this on the ground this way instead of the other way, is once I have all these together and I put the surface board, the top board on, it's going to have an even surface rather than if I tried to do it the other way, maybe line these two up, then I have an uneven surface to mount to. And having 4 points of contact with the build and with the box in general, that's going to make things much easier as far as putting it together or sitting down on the ground and having that maybe a little uneven. And I can always do something with these to make it more even if I have to. Rather than, again, trying to make this even and then having the top being a little cattywampus. Okay, so enough about that. We're going to go on. Put the other two sections together and we'll have our base together. Turn this one more time. Last side. Okay. We are getting there. So you can see, got my box now, partially. So the next part, actually before I do that, I'm gonna make sure everything's good with the top. But we also need to cut these pieces right here. So I'm going to measure those, cut those, have those for there. I'm also going to, right now, just double check the top. Looks like there's a little bit of part that's off a little bit. That's okay. Can always use a planer. And the key to this is making sure you find the best fit for this. So it looks like this is just, top is just a little smaller than I wanted compared to the rest of it, but that's okay. You can kind of do some stuff to make that work. We'll flip this around and we'll double check before we actually install this. But that's where we're at right now. As you can see, we got the box pretty much almost ready to go, minus a lot of screws. So I'm going to put a lot of screws in this before we're done, but that's where we're at. So we're doing some cutting in the next part. So before I make this cut, I know I haven't actually said this yet, but when doing any of these things, I personally like with the drill or with the saw especially, make sure you have glasses on, make sure you are safe with this. I'm going to actually fit it. Okay, that is just a little big, which is actually what I want. Hopefully it's not too big. And before I move on, I'm actually going to pre-drill this board and drill it with all the screws. There we go. After all that, now we have a good solid base, really thick, really strong 2x2s all the way around with the stands. We're ready to make the final approach to finish this project, and that's putting the top on. Okay, we're at the final stretch, ready to install the top board, the platform, everything you're going to be using to jump on this guy. So what I want to do is I want to get a couple pre-drilled holes to secure it in place. So I've already set it where I want it. So we're going to do it just slightly inside. I'm going to go ahead and do the corner here. So I'm going to do the corner right on the 2x2. Put 2 screws in there, and then I can pre-drill the rest. Holes pre-drilled. Now it's time to add some screws to those. Okay, that is all now secure. Got a nice solid top. Gonna give it one jump. Okay, 2, because I want to make sure to get it all the way up here. So nice good surface. This thing is solid. There's no cross bracing in the middle, just on the outside. That's why I wanted that thick plywood. That's why this is really gonna stand up, hold up. A couple finish things to think about is the edges. So when you're using this, especially a big box like this guy, it's gonna be hard to jump up. You're gonna miss sometimes. And when you miss, your shin will hit on the edge. Suggestion is to just, if you have a some sort of router or something, you can actually get a little bit more of a rounded edge. If you don't, just take some fine grit sandpaper, sand those edges so it's just got a little bit of a curve instead of just that solid plywood edge that it has. That way you have less of a chance to get really scraped up when you do miss. So what ends up happening is here, you'll kick there, but your shin will catch on the front. Other suggestions, don't sand the top. You want something that's a little bit rough. So this isn't too rough, but you want something that when you step on and you hop up, you tend to stick. You can put some different surfaces on here. You can paint it. I don't paint these. I keep them pretty much this way, around the edges, just so I don't get the the shin scraped up. But there's other more grippy type surfaces for the top. And keep in mind, you now have essentially 2 heights with this guy. So you have the 22-inch height right here, and then the 30-inch height if you go here. So you may want some surface on the sides as well. So keep that in mind. Round the edges on the surfaces if you're going to use it for this height. So that, all in all, is the build. Hopefully I helped you get some ideas. Use this same format or something similar. Maybe you're a little bit more skilled, or you know someone that's a little bit more skilled. They can do a lot better job than this. But this is a basic build. This, as it sits, the way I did it, it cost me about $60 for this box. But if I was building 2 or 3, the cost would go down dramatically, because I actually used another piece from this plywood. Plywood was about $50 in that particular case. I used another piece for another project, so that took a big chunk. And that piece I used could actually be another top and at least one of the sides. And then if you're building 2 or even 3 of them, that cuts the cost down to about $40 per box if you're doing it yourself. So go ahead and let me know, did this help you? Do you have some questions about how I built it, or maybe some questions about different things that you want to use this for or whatnot? Go ahead and give me some comments, give me some feedback, let me know. And if you want me to maybe build something that's similar to this or show you another build that I've done, do that as well. So again, I look forward to hearing your comments. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit that big thumbs up. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe to my channel.